Tupac Shakur, also known as Tupac, was one of the most influential rappers of all time. His music, poetry, and outspoken personality made him a global icon. But his life ended too soon. On September 7, 1996, Tupac was shot in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. He died 6 days later, on September 13th, at the age of 25. His murder shocked the world. Even though millions loved Tupac, no one was arrested or charged in connection to his death for nearly 27 years. Over the years, many theories came out, and the case became one of the biggest mysteries in music history. In 2023, a major breakthrough happened. A man named Dwayne "Kef D" Davis was arrested and charged in connection with Tupac's death. This arrest brought new attention to the case and raised many questions again. In this video, we'll break down the full story of Tupac Shakur's murder. We'll look at what happened on the night of the shooting, who was involved, what the police did, and how the case developed over the years. We'll also look at the arrest of Kef D and what comes next. Who was Tupac Shakur? Tupac Amaru Shakur was born on June 16, 1971, in East Harlem, New York. He was the son of a Black Panther activist and grew up around politics, poverty, and poetry. He started his music career in the early 1990s and quickly became famous. Tupac's music talked about real-life struggles, racism, poverty, police violence, and inner-city life. He became the voice of a generation, and millions of people related to his lyrics. Some of his most famous songs include Changes, California Love, Dear Mama. Tupac was also known for his activism, acting, and public feuds. He often spoke about being watched and targeted by the police and the government. He was also part of the famous East Coast versus West Coast rap rivalry. Tupac signed with Death Row Records, a powerful West Coast label owned by Suge Knight. This move added more fuel to his rivalry with East Coast artists like the Notorious B.I.G. By 1996, Tupac was at the height of his fame. But he also had many enemies, and tensions were high. The night of the shooting, September 7, 1996. On the night of September 7, 1996, Tupac was in Las Vegas, Nevada. He went there to watch a boxing match between Mike Tyson and Bruce Seldon. The fight took place at the MGM Grand Hotel. After the fight, Tupac and Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records, were walking through the hotel lobby. There, they saw a man named Orlando Anderson. Anderson was a known member of a gang called the Southside Crips. A few months earlier, Anderson had stolen a Death Row Records chain from one of Tupac's friends. Tupac and Suge recognized him, and a fight broke out. Tupac was caught on hotel security cameras kicking and punching Anderson along with several others. After the fight, Tupac and Suge left the hotel and drove through Las Vegas. Tupac was in the passenger seat of Suge's black BMW. They were in a convoy with other cars from Death Row Records. At around 11:15 p.m., their car stopped at a red light at the intersection of Flamingo Road and Koval Lane. A white Cadillac pulled up next to them on the right side. Someone inside the Cadillac opened fire. Tupac was hit 4 times, twice in the chest, once in the arm, and once in the thigh. Suge Knight was grazed in the head by a bullet but survived. The attackers drove away quickly. Tupac was rushed to the hospital. Tupac's death. Tupac was taken to the University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. He was in critical condition. Doctors tried to save him, but his injuries were too serious. He was placed on life support. For 6 days, fans and family waited for updates. Rumors spread that Tupac might survive, but on September 13, 1996, he was pronounced dead. The cause of death was internal bleeding from the gunshot wounds. Tupac was only 25 years old. His death caused an outpouring of grief around the world. His albums and songs climbed the charts again, and many people saw him as a modern-day martyr. But even as fans mourned, many questions were left unanswered. Who killed Tupac? Why? And would there ever be justice? The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, LVMPD, started an investigation right away. But the case faced many problems from the start. Many witnesses refused to talk to the police. Some were afraid of gang retaliation, and others didn't trust law enforcement. The police had little physical evidence. The white Cadillac that the shooters used disappeared and was never found. Orlando Anderson, the man Tupac fought at the MGM Grand, became the main suspect. He denied any involvement. He was questioned by police but never charged. In 1998, Anderson was killed in a separate gang-related shooting. With his death, the case seemed to grow colder. Over the years, the investigation stalled. The police said they lacked enough evidence to arrest anyone. Meanwhile, fans and the media kept speculating about what happened. Theories and speculation. Since Tupac's murder, many theories have emerged. Some people believe it was a gang-related attack. Others think it was part of the East Coast versus West Coast rap feud. Some fans believe Tupac was targeted by people inside the music industry or even the government. There are also theories that Suge Knight, Tupac's friend and boss, may have had something to do with the murder. Here are a few common theories. Gang retaliation after the MGM Grand fight. Members of the Southside Crips may have wanted revenge. This theory says Anderson and his crew carried out the drive-by shooting. East Coast feud. Some believe rivals from the East Coast, including people connected to the notorious B.I.G., were involved. Death Row inside job. Others suspect Suge Knight and Death Row Records had reasons to silence Tupac. Tupac had plans to leave the label and start his own company. FBI or government. Tupac's outspoken nature and political activism led some to think the government saw him as a threat. Tupac is alive. Some fans believe Tupac faked his death and escaped. These theories are not supported by any evidence. For many years, no one was arrested or charged. The case remained open but inactive. The breakthrough, Kef D arrested. In July 2023, almost 27 years after Tupac's death, police searched a house in Henderson, Nevada. It was the home of Dwayne Kef D Davis. Kef D was a former gang leader and member of the Southside Crips. Police took several items from his home, including computers, phones, documents, and bullets. Kef D had talked publicly for years about his role in Tupac's murder. He even wrote a book in 2019 called Compton Street Legend, where he claimed he was in the Cadillac during the shooting. In his interviews and book, Kef D said that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, was the one who pulled the trigger. He said he handed the gun to someone in the back seat, and the shots were fired. On September 29, 2023, Kef D was arrested and charged with first-degree murder with a deadly weapon. He was 60 years old at the time. The legal case against Kef D. Kef D is the first person ever arrested in connection with Tupac's death. Prosecutors say he helped plan the attack and supplied the gun. Even though he didn't fire the weapon himself, under Nevada law, anyone who helps in a murder can be charged the same as the shooter. Kef D pleaded not guilty. His lawyers argued that his public statements were not confessions, and that he was exaggerating to sell books and gain fame. They also argued that too much time had passed since the crime. A judge denied bail and ordered Kef D to stay in jail until trial. The trial was originally set for 2024 but was later delayed. As of now, the trial is scheduled to begin in February 2026. If convicted, Kef D could face life in prison. What this means. Kef D's arrest gave new hope to fans who wanted justice for Tupac. After so many years, people were glad to see progress in the case. However, there are still questions. If Orlando Anderson was the shooter and is now dead, can Kef D's trial bring full justice? Will other people be charged? The case has also raised issues about how police handled the original investigation. Some believe the case could have been solved years ago if more effort had been made. Tupac spoke openly about the struggles of Black Americans and poor communities. He criticized the government, the police, and the system that oppressed minorities. Even though he was famous and rich, he stayed connected to the streets and used his platform to speak about serious issues. He was influenced by the teachings of Malcolm X, the Black Panthers, and African revolutionaries. To many people, Tupac wasn't just a rapper, he was a revolutionary. He wanted to change the world. Part of Tupac's legacy is the mystery surrounding his death. The unsolved case, conspiracy theories, and rumors that he's still alive have kept him in the public conversation for decades. To some people, Tupac became a myth, like Elvis or Bob Marley. Someone larger than life. Tupac wasn't just about fame and wealth. He was deeply political and spoke often about injustice, inequality, and black pride. He supported revolutionary ideas and believed in fighting for change. He created the concept of thug life, which he said didn't mean being a criminal. It stood for the hate you give little infants FKS everybody. It was his way of saying that how society treats young black kids affects the whole world. He also wanted to build community programs, youth centers, and help people in poor neighborhoods. Unfortunately, he didn't live long enough to make those dreams happen. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more this type of videos, then do not forget like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.